When some people think they're blind, but they're actually normal. And when some people think they can't do anything in online learning process while they're actually strong enough to do. And when some people do careless, but they actually can help others. Well, ladies and gentlemen, coronavirus situation is really makes everything different. And I like to speak up about this case in my speech today, talking about supporting greater digital literacy of teachers and parents by using coping strategy to make the effectiveness of learning during pandemic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we already knew that coronavirus was first discovered in the city of Wuhan, China at the end of December 2019. Coronavirus spread very quickly and almost all countries has affected by this virus. And after that, Indonesia also affected by coronavirus at February 2020. Coronavirus situation is really impacted to many sectors of life in Indonesia, especially in education sectors. All schools in red zone are closed. Most schools in Indonesia have remained shut since March 2020 as authorities struggle to contain the fast spreading virus. And because of this, online learning happened. Generally, teachers, parents, and students are not ready yet for a whole online learning process. It can be seen from the material of learning process, evaluation, and curriculum. They still will design as offline class. And it's just the same thing for parents. They're also not ready yet for a whole online learning process. At past, before online learning happened, they only know how to funding for their children's learning. Mostly, they don't know how to assist and guide their children during teaching learning process in pandemic situation. But coronavirus is really changed everything. The learning must be done by online and parents must involve in teaching learning process in pandemic situation. But apparently, some problems appear when some teachers and parents have lack knowledge in digital literacy. It can make them feel stressed. So I have an opinion here to solve the problems. And I think the best way to solve this problem is by improving the knowledge of digital literacy itself. But how is the way to improve it? The answer is by applying coping strategy in our daily life. But what is coping strategy and how can it work in improving the knowledge of digital literacy? So to make it be more clear, let's define about this keyword first. Ladies and gentlemen, coping strategy is the effort to solve personal and impersonal problems in order to try to tolerate stress and conflict. Meanwhile, digital literacy means that accessing the information through digital technologies, like internet platform, social media, and also digital mobile device. But it's still questioning. How can coping strategy work in improving the knowledge of digital literacy between teachers and parents so that they can be the greater digital literacy users? So to answer those questions, I have 2 points here. First point is talking about the essence of coping strategy itself, and the second one is talking about the implementation of those coping strategy in our daily life. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's come to my first point talking about the essence of coping strategy itself. Like I told you before that coping strategy is the effort to solve personal and impersonal problem in order to try to tolerate stress and conflict. To be known that coping strategy have two base here. First is emotional based and the second one is problem based. But in this case, in this lack knowledge of digital literacy between teachers and parents, better we use the problem based one. And here's some way that you can do. First is create to-do list. Second, leave a toxic environment. And the third one is to do the time management. Well, I told you the way. So now, how can we imply that in our daily life? Well, let's come to my second point talking about the implementation of those coping strategy in our daily life. Ladies and gentlemen, at first, I told you to do create to-do list. What I mean create to-do list is you can make a board list of activities that you can do to improving the knowledge of digital literacy itself. And you can make a kind of like discussion group in social media that you can ask or even answer the question about digital literacy there. And the second one is I told you to leave a toxic environment. What I mean about toxic environment here is the circle that always makes you think negatively. especially in this pandemic situation where every news and every person talking about COVID in everywhere and every time. It can make a scary situation and threaten us. For the example of toxic environment is when some lazy teachers influence other teachers to do nothing in online learning process like them. So it can make the learning process just not running well in pandemic situation. And the second one is when some lazy parents also influence other parents to not assist or guide their children during pandemic situation learning. And the third one, I told you to do the time management. What I mean time management here is you make a timestamp of when your webinar start, and at night you can search anything in some source about digital literacy that can also improving your knowledge about digital literacy. So, based on that explanation, I truly believe that copy strategy will work well in improving the knowledge of digital literacy for the teachers and parents. It is not only work, but it can make them be more creative, energetic, and challenged person in mastering digital literacy, so that digital literacy will run well among them, and the purpose of online learning will be achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, at last, I want to say to you that pandemic is not something crisis. Pandemic is not the time for us to feel scary of everything, but pandemic is the time for us to hold, to strengthen, and to support each other to achieve something in this pandemic situation. Believe me that the collaboration power between teachers, parents, and students will make the digital literacy run well in teaching and learning process to be success. Well, today, I'm Nadine Pahlevi, glad to speak up about my speech here today. See you and thank you.